Hey guys, MC Bora here. So while I typically don't do camera edits for these sort of guide videos, for Viper, I feel like we kind of have to. Everything you just saw was done on a regular PlayStation 5 pad, and I know that the vast majority of you guys probably play on pad as well. And the reason I'm doing this is that Viper is much harder than the regular character in Street Fighter 6, and there are a couple of input tricks that you need to know. If you know them, it's gonna make life a lot easier for you, and it's still gonna be hard, but you at least will know the trick to do a lot of that stuff. So one thing that you saw a lot during many of these combos were feints, and with Viper you do like the Thunder Knuckle and then press kick, and she will faint, and the same for like the Seismo, right? Now there is a very easy trick here, which is if you're holding down a kick, I'm already holding down like the X button, right? If I'm doing fireball backward and punch, bam, I'm getting the feint as fast as possible. But this is not really that convenient. So what I'm doing is I'm typically holding like the R2 button, and this is the default for me. So R2 is heavy kick. So when I'm doing a combo like a jumping heavy kick into crouching heavy punch feint, and then I'm continuing, what I'm doing here is that I'm jumping with heavy kick, and then I'm holding heavy kick the entire time, right? That's how you're supposed to do it, and you will have like much easier time getting it this way. See? So heavy kick held the entire time. So these arthritis cancels, as that's pretty much how you're supposed to do them. If you do that, I have a long history because I play Cody. So playing Zonk is something that I'm very used to, but that's the first trick. The other trick that you're doing a lot with Viper is instant air burn kick, right? Is a burn kick. This is a regular version, but how do you do that one cross up, the one that you do in combos all the time? So the idea is simple. Obviously, it's a fireball motion move. So you do fireball and end with up forward, right? And that's how you get the insta-air. There is a sound tick, and you notice that you used up drive gauge. But this might be difficult on pad. And one thing that I found that is really easy is doing it on the analog stick, especially during combos. So you start at down, forward, forward, up, forward, and you can buffer it throughout like the Seismo animation, and then press the medium kick. And this is gonna give it to you. It's much easier to do it on analog, especially like in combos, compared to doing it with D-pad. With D-pad, you're gonna get sore thumbs, it's gonna be difficult. In combos, you pretty much are confirming, especially like off of the Seismo, and you're seeing like how consistently I'm getting it, right? It's much easier to do with analog stick. I typically always play with a D-pad, but for this very special sort of move, since you're doing it so much, I would recommend actually using the analog for this like very specific cancel. It's gonna give you that much more consistently. Now, we talked about instant air burn kick. Viper have a lot of insta air moves in general as well, and she have a lot of normals that are not super, like not special cancelable, but are super jump cancelable, like the heavy kick. You can't cancel this into specials, but you saw that, like you saw Mura doing like heavy kick into the heavy thunder knuckle. How are you doing it? And it's kind of like the same concept of like the heavy punch into the thunder knuckle, or like standing medium kick into the Seismo. That's how it's done. One thing I will say is, especially with the crouching medium kick, since you saw that as well, and I don't know how prevalent this is gonna be, but the thing with crouching medium kick is that the initial down does not count towards the super jump. So if I'm doing down medium kick and then press up, it doesn't count. So you have to do down and medium kick to get the medium kick, and then another down. So like you have to tap down medium and then do the move, and that's how you get that. See this? I did down and medium kick, let go to neutral, and then did the uppercut motion, ending it with punches, and that's how I got the Seismo. Now, it's still difficult, like make no mistake, everything I'm saying, like that is still like very, very hard. But yeah, she's Viper, and Viper is supposed to be hard. Here, for example, I did heavy punch, and I did from down to up, backwards, so I'm going the heavy feint, and I did heavy punch and light kick, so that I'm getting the feint as fast as possible, and that's how you get it, right? I hope that this proved to be a little bit helpful. Viper is hard, but with some tricks, with some time, and with some practice, I feel like we can get there.